Hello out there to all you shiny rock lovers and cabochon makers. Check this one out. What is this? This is a fossil rock that I picked up a few days ago in Central Texas. I was out rock hounding with my wife Kendra. We were finding banded chert and other interesting looking rocks. I stumbled upon this one here and I got all excited. I said, Kendra, check this out. This is a fossil rock there. You can clearly see the little gastropod right there, aka Turritella type shell. And if you look closely, you can see that this rock is basically a deathbed. That's right. There are a lot of ancient fossilized shells in here and other whatnots. Look at that there. Ooh. Wow. A graveyard of fossils. These rocks can be lots of fun. What I thought we would do with this one is do a slabbing and cabbing video. That's where I take this rock, I somehow get it mounted on the saw, and I make a bunch of slabs, and then take one of those slabs and turn it into a cabochon. What I think I want to do in this case is something a little bit different. It appears to me that these profile views of the gastropods are all in that plane right there. In other words, this would have been the bottom of the ocean and they all just came to rest like that. They're all in that orientation. And as you can see, this is thin that way. And it would be difficult to get it mounted on my 18-inch slab saw in such a way where I could make the cuts in that plane. So I think what I'm going to try to do is use some sort of adhesive and glue a piece of wood right here so that I can mount that in the vise and get a few slabs in this plane off this. Hopefully capturing one of these, like that right there, one of these little shells in that orientation. And the goal being, once we get a slab with one or more of those shells in that orientation, we'll do a cabochon around it, maybe an oval or something where we have that centered, and then do a nice dome and shine on it. That's the plan anyway. So let me see how this goes. Follow me to the shop. I will see if I can get this thing set up and get it mounted in the saw, and we'll go from there. All right, so check this out. I brought the rock into the shop, found a piece of wood, and I glued it like this. Now this isn't just ordinary glue. This is JB Weld 2-part epoxy, which means this will never come off. But the reason I did that is because it was such an uneven surface. This side was even lumpier. So I found a fairly flat section there and I used that, held it in a vise overnight. Feels pretty strong now. I should be able to get it in the vise and make a few slabs in this orientation, hopefully capturing some really beautiful fossils. Let's find out. I've got the rock mounted in the vise thanks to that glue and the wood. Now, will it hold up? I hope so. We should get some nice slices off this. Hopefully, we'll capture something really cool. The cut's finished, let's check it out. Did it stay together? The answer is... okay, I think it did. See what it looks like. Well, let's get us some slabs. And just like that, the fossil rock has been slabbed. Were we lucky? Did we capture something interesting? This little piece here broke off and... well, not much there. That's going to end up in the tumbler. Let's see this first little end cap here. Now notice, again, all of those really cool little shells you see in there. Did we get lucky with this slab? Let's peek around here. Well, there's one there. Looks like bits of one there. There's one right there in the middle of the screen. Okay. That looks like something right there. But this really isn't a good example because, yeah, it's the end cap. Let's look at the first full slab. How did we do? Did we find a good fossil to turn into a cabochon? There's bits and pieces I'm seeing. Nothing great though. Well, down here you can see something going on, but oh, look, right there. There's a pretty one. It's kind of small, but we could turn that into a cabochon. Let's keep looking. That's how they look head on right there. Okay, well, there was at least one sort of decent example of what I'm looking for. Let's look at the other side. Ooh. Wow, remember I said this is a death plate? Look at that. There's a lot of dying going on right there. Oh my. Wow. Now, would these make a good cabochon? Maybe. Maybe. There's a lot in there, as you can see. Okay, there's some potential. Wow, there's a big one right there. This slab has potential. Let's check the next one. Not so much, just bits and pieces right there. There's one in the middle there. Nothing that just stands out though, right? Yeah, you see parts of them, but really not the profile I'm looking for this cabochon. Let's look at the other side. Well, there's some stuff going on up there with those two. Lots of bits and pieces, but not the profile I'm hoping for. Okay, next one. Just like the last one, lots of bits and pieces. Look in there. Yes, you see small ones and then bigger ones that were cut, but not exactly what I'm hoping for here. It's like a false eyelashes right there. Some sort of shell, I suppose. Okay, other side. Ooh, what's that right there? That's sort of interesting, but you can see there's some fractures right there. So I would avoid that area. There's one there. Not quite right, huh? Okay. Ooh, this is our last slab. Ooh, let's look at this side. Ooh, there you go. Now that's interesting. Okay. Another one right there, maybe. Oh, look at that, has some color in it. That's pretty. What I like about these is they seem to be filled with chalcedony. You notice that? That very light gray chalcedony that seems to have filled the cavities. Ooh, that's interesting looking right there. And finally, ooh. I think we might have a winner here. That is interesting. I like that. It looks like a Christmas tree, doesn't it? Wow, that looks like a good shape and size. It has that chalcedony there between those structures, whatever they are. It almost looks like staircase going up. You see that? Little shells in there. I like that. I think that this is the one. This looks like it's the right shape. It's a great looking design. So let's turn this into a cabochon. Let me grab one of my templates, draw a shape on it, and I'll show you what it looks like. There, what do you think of that? The classic sort of egg shape. I like that, and it really highlights that little fossil Christmas tree we have. Oh, I think this is gonna be a good one. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get this into the shop. I'll get it on the trim saw and I'll trim away as much as I can, get as close to that line as I can. Once I finish that, I'll take it over to the cabbing machine. I'll get on the 80 grit coarse wheel and I will fine tune the shape of it, try to make it exactly like I've drawn. Once I'm finished with that, I will go put it on a dop stick. Then we will meet again over at the cabbing machine. Let's get this cabochon started. We'll begin as usual on the 80 grit wheel for the basic shaping. Now here's how it looks, dry of course. You can see I've got the dome formed. Let's move on to the 220 grit wheel. This is where I'm going to clean up all those rough scratches and fine tune the shape. Now check it out. That fossil looks really cool, right? Moving on, the 280 grit soft wheel where I push in hard, get rid of any faceting. Now look how smooth it is. I think we're ready to start polishing this thing. To that end, let's try the 600 grit wheel. Will this give us a shine? Not really, maybe a little bit of a reflection. Cool looking though, right? Okay, let's go to the 1200 grit wheel. This is normally where the polish really takes off. Now check it out after 1200 grit. The shop lights, they are reflecting. That's a good sign. Very nice. Last wheel, the 3000 grit. And what will this do for our polish? There you go. Looks pretty good. Good reflection. I'm happy with that. I bet we can do even better though. Let's move over to the wet belt sander and the cerium belt. I'll spend a few minutes here. And now for our final polish. There you go. Nice and shiny, just the way I like it. Cool pattern too, right? Well, I tell you what, let's take this inside for a closer look. Welcome back inside. What do you think? Our little Central Texas fossil rock cabochon is all finished. Wow, look at that little creature right there. Oh, I just love those details. That staircase looking detail right there. Isn't that fun? I am very happy with the way this one turned out. This was a fun project. Just look at all of the life that was around back then and gave up its life to make this beautiful fossilized rock. That's really fun stuff right there. Wow. I think it turned out really good. Very happy with it. The dome, let's look at the dome. And yeah, looks all right. What about the back? Remember the back? This is how we started. Oh, look, there's more life, right? See that? And this is what it looks like after 7 different grits. A nice shine, as you can see, as I roll over it. I really need to learn silversmithing. I'd love to put this into some sort of setting. Maybe wear this as a necklace. Or give it to Kendra to wear as a necklace. Yeah, I don't know if she'd wear this, but I would. Hey, thank you so much for coming along on this little adventure with me. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. I could not be happier with the way this one turned out. I hope you like it as well. Once again, thanks for watching.